Andrew is like a saint. He's very loving, he's very compassionate, a very smart businessman, unselfish, totally unselfish. And my friends tell me I can't do any better, so he's the best man out there.
He's always asking, what's the meaning of life? That's his staple question. What's the meaning of life? He's here to help us answer that for ourselves. I think it's a constant search. It's more about the journey.
My first experience meeting Andrew is actually funny, was FaceTime. Amy hasn't started dating Andrew yet. So I met him on, and he's like asking us, what's the purpose of life? And I'm like, this guy's weird.
He grew up in northern Poland, in a small part. I don't know exactly what the town's name was, but it was close to Gdańsk.
He was just always entrepreneurial from a very young age, especially growing up in Poland because they were very poor. And he told me a story one time of where he went out selling what he was selling one time and made more money in a day than his mother, I think, made in a month. And I think that got him hooked.
His mom was a nurse in the military, and he started doing business when he was 12 years old. He's selling balloons at night at bars, and he started making money since he was 12.
He was in the Navy for a few years. It's kind of like a mandatory thing in Poland. You have to serve in the Army for 2 years. But obviously also his mother was like a military nurse, so he was just overexposed to that. And it was funny, he was actually quite a rebel. He didn't want to participate in the rules and the kind of agenda that the military had. He was exposed to his entire life, so he would not cut his hair and do things like that to just kind of spite his officers or whatever, just to kind of like show off or do something to kind of shake it up a little bit. I think what he took away from it was such a contradictory look on life. He didn't want to be like the people that he saw around him growing up. He wanted to be like the loving mother that he had. So he really took that into his life and used that to shape kind of who he was and who he became and the directions that he chose to follow. They were not aggressive like the military is.
There's a discipline and a regimen and a dedication to that kind of work. And I see how Andrew brings that into his life is one thing. And just his story of immigration into Canada and where he started from, coming over here with not a whole lot of money in his pocket. He barely even spoke English. And to see where he is today, where he's built his real estate business and he's done so many great things.
When he moved here, he used to work on like sound systems in cars. He used to call them boom cars. He quickly moved on to the real estate market and became a realtor. I remember seeing him go from having a cubicle to having an office to having the big office to leaving Sutton and starting his own company. And so now, he has one-stop home buying center, and that's kind of given him this outlet of opportunity. So he's got all his other ventures that he's been able to do.
He's like the best asset ever to have on an advisory group because, he's humble, he's conscious, he's articulate, he listens, but he has such a wealth of experience, but also he has a kind of mind that is just so different. So we'll be kicking around ideas and brainstorming and looking at tactical things to change. And then Andrew just goes right underneath all of us with some kind of wild base strategy that completely changes the game. And so whenever he opens his mouth, everyone's like, what's he gonna say? And then as soon as he does it, it's just it's just usually something that's just such a different way of thinking than most of the people in the room. That's just so interesting and refreshing, genius. He's really an enigma because he's got this paradoxical personality where if you don't really know him, he just seems very reserved and almost stoic at times, like that Eastern Bloc kind of, And then, but he's actually usually the life of the party as well.
I first met Andrew at an event, and it was a very interesting event because it was all about orgasmic meditation. He was there as a participant, and I was there as a facilitator. All right, so it was an interesting way to meet. There's one thing I can say about Andrew is he's visionary. Right, he sees beyond to what's next and what's coming. versus reacting and acting in what's now and current. He's able to actually recognize trends, and he's willing to act on it and invest in things that he believes in.
Most people don't know how much of a badass he is. He is a genius in business. I mean, he has multiple companies in multiple industries, and he has a really, we actually within our own company, there's something that he does with how he sets his businesses up that we call the Rezmer move. It's almost like a chess move. And it's just like this really cool way that he partners with people. Again, that inclusivity, that partnership, where he will find a business that he thinks, has a valuable service or product or program to the world. And then he will finance it, and then he'll find someone who's really good operationally to run it, and he'll partner with them. So he gets to have, equity in this business, and then the partner actually gets to do their, gift in the world. And so he's just done that over and over again in all these different businesses and all these different industries, and it's just such a creative way to do business, right? So yeah, we coined it the Rezmer move. We're always like, we should do a Rezmer move. It's a great idea.
I think if there's a legacy that Andrew leaves, it's really to make this world a better place from a health perspective, from an ethics perspective, just overall goodness of the planet. That's what Andrew would leave.
He already has left a huge legacy by starting the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference. It's been running for 7 years. It's changed so many people's lives. And I think he's not going to stop there. He's keep doing what you're doing. And yes, you are amazing.
We have a great relationship, and it's interesting. It's always changing, and it's always growing. You know what I mean? And now that he's with Amy, we have another level of connection and another family to be part of and join, and it's amazing.
When we met Andrew, she was just talking to Andrew about 4 months. And then when he flew to Arizona, we were in Vegas together, and that's when he was on the FaceTime. I was with Amy in the room when he asked me all these things. Amy and I were in Vegas. And then she went to Arizona, her vacation home, and Andrew flew to Arizona. I flew back to Vancouver. Within the time that she's met Andrew, it's like a dramatic change. She's like, oh, it's like, I can't even describe it because there's so much change. Like she's so much more compassionate. She talks more lovingly. She has time more for me, I guess. Before she's like, on target, but now she actually slows down a lot.
I love food, and Andrew is a vegan most of the time. So we were on this one trip, and he does work with this clinic. It's the clinic is vegan, so every meal we were eating raw vegan. So after a week of that, he has a meeting with his team, and he asked if I wanted to go, and I said, "Where are you going?" He says, "To a vegan restaurant." It's like, oh come on, 7 days of vegan was more than enough for Amy. So I said, "No, honey, I'm tired. Why don't you go for your team meeting?" So I went in the room, I closed the door, and I flipped on my iPhone, searching for pho near me. And then he came in. And as soon as he came, I got so scared, I got caught, right? So I flipped the phone upside down. And then he didn't say anything, he walked out. So 2 minutes later, he came back in and he says, I saw you on the phone. I don't want to be making up shit. Why don't you just tell me, what would you do? And I felt so guilty, I handed him the phone. He was looking through, it was like 4 restaurants nearby. Oh my goodness, the look in his face, he felt so bad. Obviously, I was so desperate for my home comfort food, but then that's why I didn't want to go for dinner. So he felt really bad. He said, "You can just go, And it became a story I share with all my family. So then they say, "Oh, you got caught watching food porn." I said, "That's exactly it." But then the beautiful thing after that was everywhere we go, maximum once a week, he would find me up for a restaurant because he knew that was how important it is to me.
I am so happy for my sister to have found such a gem. You know, we always joke that if she leaves him, we're gonna side with him. He is so patient with her. He is like a Buddha. Nothing phases him. He's so flexible with everyone that he meets. He can connect with everyone on a deep level. He knows so much. He's so wise. And he brings so much to the relationship that I am deeply thankful and touched that my sister has found such a great man. That is Andrew.
Andrew, he has influenced Amy to be more patient, more compassionate, more loving, because he is such a loving person. And he has shown her what love and compassion could be. And I have seen a huge transition in my sister's patience and kindness level because of Andrew being in her life.
Her and Andrew are so different, but yet the way that because Amy is so wide in her range of growth, that she sees the wisdom in Andrew too, so then they kind of just meet. It's just, Amy gives me the Mother Teresa as my nickname, and Andrew is the Father Teresa. And I joke about it because if without Father Teresa and Mother Teresa, we are on our own. Without Andrew, I don't think I can last in Amy's friendship life. Yeah, I don't have that on camera.
Well, the three nickname probably wraps it all up. The first nickname I gave him was Father Teresa, because he's so compassionate and so loving. The second nickname I gave him was Crazy Glue, because he's really, really attached to me, and it's like Amy is his world, so he's really crazy glue. I think we've only been apart for 2 weeks for the last 18 months that we've been together. The more time I spent with him, the more I grew to love him. I think he made me a better person. I love his relationship with my family. My mom, my sibling, everyone loves him. My friends, everyone loves him. And I'm just so moved and touched by what a great person he's with. So his last nickname is Destiny, because through him I see that this is my destiny. I see that I'll grow old with him, and he's not going anywhere. This is the destiny. Lately I've been telling my friends that if it's meant to be that I have to go through everything I went through in my past relationships to end up with this gift, he's a gift, I would do it all over again. And I think that pretty much wraps it up.
What a light, what a model, but yet a quiet model. He never talks about himself. He never shines his own light. It's always about others. It's always about serving others. It's always about helping others. Honestly, I don't think you could find a more noble person than Andrew.
I see you as like a profound agent of the soul mycelium. For already a great man to keep going higher, is only a great woman can take him higher. Thank you. Thank you for the honor of letting me just shower some well-deserved truth.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for your continuing service to all of us.
He doesn't put himself out there as a leader. He simply puts himself out there as a catalyst from the heart. And this is the catalyst. And this is the flame that makes it spark.
Andrew is the only man that I know that I feel loves me without trying to get into my pants. I really appreciate you. Really love you. And I'm very grateful to have you.
And I just thank you so much for bringing us into your world and into your life. Amy, thank you for making him even shinier.
I love you, Andrew. I so appreciate you.
Thank you for the vision that you have. We hope to grow up to be able to do the same as well. So thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Andrew. All the best.
Love you, Andrew. So happy to see you happy, my friend, my brother. And happy birthday, Polar Bear.
Thank you, Amy, for this event. I wanted the best. Ferrari. For Andrew's 60th.
Has it been a Ferrari so far?
This is the most beautiful moment in one's life, where surrounded by people who are sharing love, especially in this time in the world where there's so much fear and distrust. Yet we are here together, sharing food, sharing memories, sharing moments, and expressing each other.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Andrew! Happy birthday to
The happiest birthday. I am so grateful for everything that you've done for me and been there for me throughout my entire life. Throughout all the hardships, you've always been the most endearing and embracing father, and I'm just grateful for everything, for all the experiences, all the burns, everything. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Andrew, wow, you're turning 60 and you don't look a day over 50. I think it's because of your love and passion for life. I wish you will stay young and energetic for the next 60 years. We're truly blessed to have you in our family, and we look forward to many more years of celebrating birthdays with you.
I just want to thank Andrew, for the opportunity and the trust in me in my role as I stepped in with Conscious Living Network and Conscious Living Radio. It's really changed my life and been a great addition, a great opportunity, and I gotta say I've had a ton of fun doing it. I've learned a lot, and I'm just really grateful. I thank you so much, Andrew, for the opportunity and the trust. Thank you. Happy birthday, my friend.
Andrew, I want to wish you happy, jolly birthday. And thank you so much for coming into our life. You mean the world to us.
Andrew, happiest of birthdays to you. Thank you so much for all your mentorship and your friendship and your inclusivity, and just for all the wisdom and love and peace and generosity that you provide to the world in so many different ways. I'm just very honored to know you, and I wish you many years of success and love and hot sex and lots of abundance.
My friends tell me I can't do any better, so he's the best man out there. They keep reminding me you can't do better, and I said I don't plan to, because he is my destiny. I can't imagine living another day without him anymore. I love you, Andrew. You mean the world to me. I've never loved anyone the way I loved you. And I really can't imagine my life without you ever again.